Good morning. I have taken a cantilever subjected to uniformly distributed load and point load. Let us read the statement. A cantilever 1.5 meter long is loaded with a UDL of 2 kilonewton per meter run over a length of 1.25 meter from the free end. In the problem, a cantilever is given whose length is 1.5 meter is loaded with a uniformly distributed load of 2 kilonewton per meter run over a length of 1.25 meter. This is the 1.25 meter from the free end. It also carries a point load of 3 kilonewton at a distance of 0.25 meter from the free end. From the free end, it carries a 3 kilonewton point load at a distance of 0.25 meter from the free end. This is the free end. Draw the shear force diagram and bending moment diagram of a cantilever. This is the given statement. According to this, you have constructed the figure, and these two methods are there. Either you can use the right portion of the section or you can use the left portion of the section. In this case, I am going to use right portion of the section. To draw the shear force diagram and bending moment diagram, first I'm going to draw shear force diagram. For that, I require shear force calculation. This is the sign conventions. Always the clockwise will give you positive shear force and anti-clockwise will give you negative shear force. Whether you take on the right portion or left portion of the beam. In this case, first I'm going to find out shear force at point B. In this, I'm going to first consider shear force right of the beam. This is the point B. To the right of the beam, no load is acting. That's why shear force is equal to 0. On the left of point B, when you take on the left of the point B, at point B, there is no load acting. Therefore, right and left shear force is equal to 0. Now, shear force right of C. This is the right of point C. If you take right of the C means UDL is acting from point B to point C. UDL is acting. Always the shear force definition is it is the algebraic sum of the vertical forces. This UDL has to be converted into vertical load or point load. For that reason, UDL is 2 kilonewton per meter multiply with the distance at up to what distance it is acting. From point B to point C means 0.25. Therefore, 2 into 0.25. And on the right side of the section, it is acting in, it will be acting at the center. It will be acting in clockwise direction. On the right side, clockwise means positive. Plus 2 into 0.25. It will be 0.5 kilonewton. Now, I have taken right of C. Now, shear force left of C. If you take shear force left of C means, here you can see that point load is acting as well as UDL is acting. First, convert this UDL into point load. From point B to C, it is acting. UDL is 2 kilonewton per meter multiplied by 0.25. 2 into 0.25. On the right side, it will be acting, and that will be acting at the CG. CG of BC. That will be acting in clockwise direction, means clockwise positive. And point load is also acting 3 kilonewton. It is acting in clockwise direction, positive plus 3. 3.5 kilonewton. Now, shear force at point D, I'm going to calculate to the right of D. I'm going to take to the right of the D means to the right, UDL is acting and point load is acting. UDL from point B to point D. UDL is 2 kilonewton per meter and the length from B to D is 1.25 meter. 2 into 1.25, and that will be acting at the CG, and it will be in clockwise direction. Take it as positive. Plus 3 is also acting, and that will be in clockwise direction, positive. Plus 3, 5.5 kilonewton. Now, shear force left of D. I have taken left of D means the same load will be acting, UDL and point load. UDL is 2 into 1.25. It will be acting at the CG and that will be in clockwise direction. Take it as positive. And 3 kilonewton is there and that will be in clockwise direction. Total you will get it as 5.5 kilonewton. Now shear force at point A. At point A to the right of A, you have to see how many vertical loads are there. One is 3 kilonewton, another one is UDL. Convert that into point load. 2 into distance, it is acting from B to D. 2 into 1.25, you will get 2.25 plus 3. Both are in clockwise direction. You will get it as 5.5 kilonewton. Now to the left of A, if you take to the left of A, means here you will get a reaction. The load acting on the structure, if the structure has to be in equilibrium. If you see my previous problem, in that I have calculated the reaction at point A. As I told you, there is no need of calculating reaction at point A. If this structure has to be in equilibrium, means whatever the load which is acting on the cantilever, the same amount of reaction will be from point A or the fixed end. Then only the structure will be in equilibrium. If 5.5 kilonewton is acting downward, means at point A, the reaction will be in upward direction. It will be 5.5 kilonewton plus 5.5 kilonewton and minus 5.5 kilonewton, you will get as 0. This is how you're going to get the shear force. Now I'm going to plot this shear force diagram. This is the baseline. Always the positive value should be drawn above the baseline. At point B, the value is 0. At point C, 1 is 0.5 kilonewton. At point C, it is 1.5 kilonewton. And at point C of the left, it is 3.5 kilonewton. At point C, one more is 3.5. Join this. Okay. If you see in between C and B, the member is subjected for UDL. When the structure is subjected for UDL, when you're going to draw the shear force variation, always it will be linear. You have to remember that table which you have shown in the previous explanation. You can go through those video and you will understand. Now at point C, now join this 0.5 and 3.5. Now at point D, the value is 5.5 kilonewton. At point D, it is 5.5 kilonewton. If you see in between D and C, the member is subjected for UDL. If the member is subjected for UDL, means the variation will be linear. Join 3.5 and 5.5. Now at point A, the value is 5.5, other value is 0. Now if you see at point A and D, no load is acting. Or if you take at point D, UDL, you have converted that into point load. Means the variation will be constant. All these values are positive. That's why I have drawn above the baseline. Now we'll see the bending moment calculation. Now, if you see the bending moment calculation, sagging, you will take it as positive. Hogging, you will take it as negative. This is like smiley face and this is dull face. That is how you can remember. Here on the right side, right portion, if it is an anti-clockwise, you have to take it as positive bending moment. If you are using left section method, if it is clockwise, you have to take it as positive. As I mentioned here, I have considered right portion. Right portion means on the right side, if it is anti-clockwise, I will take it as bending moment positive. If it is clockwise, I will take it as negative. This is standard method. If you are not able to understand this, means this is the layman method. If the shear force is acting upward, take it as positive bending moment. If the vertical load is acting downward, it will result the bending moment in negative. Whether it is acting on the right side or left side. Now, bending moment at point B. Bending moment at point B, there is no load means bending moment is 0 at point B. 0. Now, bending moment at point C. To find out bending moment at point C, UDL is there. Otherwise, here I have drawn the diagram. You can see. Okay. I'm going to find out bending moment at point C. There is no need of drawing this. It is for your understanding. I have shown. I'm going to find out bending moment at point C. UDL is there. As per the definition of bending moment, it is vertical load into perpendicular distance. Means you need to convert UDL into point load. To convert that UDL into point load, you need to multiply the UDL 2 kilonewton per meter. So how much distance it is acting from point to B to point C? It is 0.25. 2 into 0.25, and that will be acting at the CG. CG means center of BC portion. Means from the center, the remaining distance is 0.25 divided by 2 is 0.125, and the remaining is 0.125. As per the bending moment definition, it is vertical load into perpendicular distance. You have converted UDL into point load. Vertical load into perpendicular distance. Vertical load is 2 into 0.25. 2 into 0.25 multiplied by the perpendicular distance. It is 0.125. 0.125, or you can write it as 0.25 divided by 2. 0.25 divided by 2. It will be acting at the center. Here I have taken it as negative sign because it is acting downward, or if you take on the right section, it will be in clockwise direction. If it is in clockwise direction, means you have to take it as bending moment negative. Negative. Otherwise, you can see layman method. Downward means it will be negative. Now I am going to see bending moment at point D. Bending moment at point B. D. I have taken the same section here. I need to find out bending moment up to point D. Sorry, by mistake I mentioned the C. C. This is the point C. At this point, the load is, this is point C. 3 kilonewton is acting. UDL is there. As per the bending moment definition, you cannot directly take UDL. You need to convert this into point load. UDL, it is acting from point B to point D. The total distance is 1.225 meter. UDL is 2 kilonewton per meter multiplied by 1.25 meter. Then it will be converted into point load, and that will be acting at the CG. 2 into distance is 1.25. This is the CG. Center of this means 1.25 divided by 2, and the remaining distance is, it is exactly half. 1.25 divided by 2. Vertical load into perpendicular distance, 2 into 1.25 multiplied by 1.25 divided by 2. One more load is acting. It is 3 kilonewton on the right side. You can see that 3 kilonewton is acting, and from point C to point D, the distance is 1 meter. 3 kilonewton multiplied by 1. Vertical load into perpendicular distance, 3 into 1. 3 into 1. If you see the section on the right side, it is acting in clockwise direction. On the right side, if it is acting clockwise, means you have to take negative bending moment, minus 3 into 1. Similarly, this point load 2 into 1.25, it is also acting in clockwise direction, minus. Therefore, bending moment at D will be minus 4.563 kilonewton meter. Now, I'm going to find out bending moment at point A. I've taken the same figure here. Bending moment at point A. First, convert this UDL into point load. UDL is 2 kilonewton per meter. It is acting over the length of 1.25, means from point B to D. 1 meter plus 0.25, 1.25. 2 multiplied by 1.25. It has now converted into point load. Multiplied by, it will be acting at the CG. Vertical load into perpendicular distance. You are finding bending moment at point A. means you have to take distance up to this 2 into 1.25 multiplied by perpendicular distance, it is 1.25 divided by 2 plus 0.25 from CG to A. You have to take down the distance. Once again I will tell you, first convert this UDL into point load. 2 multiplied by 1.25, it is converted into point load, and this will be acting at the CG of dB. This is the CG. 1.25 divided by 2. As per the bending moment definition, it is vertical load into perpendicular distance. You are finding bending moment at point A. Vertical load is 2 into 1.25 plus into distance. It is 1.25 divided by 2 plus 0.25 meter. On the right side, it is acting in clockwise direction. You have to take it as negative. It is acting clockwise. And one more load is there. 3 kilonewton is acting on the right side. 3 multiplied by perpendicular distance up to A. 3 into distance, it is 1 meter plus 0.25. 3 into 1.25. 3 multiplied by 1.25 on the right side is acting in clockwise direction. Take it as negative, or from the layman's method, if it is acting downward, take it as minus. Minus 3 into 1.25, you will get it as minus 5.938 kilonewton meter. Now I am going to draw the bending moment variation. At point B, bending moment is 0. Substitute as 0. And if you see all the values at point B, C, D, and A, you're getting negative values. Means the negative value should be drawn below the base line. At point C, the value is minus 0.0625 kilonewton, minus below baseline minus 0.0625 kilonewton meter. If you see from point B to C, the member is subjected for UDL. UDL means the variation in bending moment will be parabolic. You can see the table. And now at point D, the bending moment is minus 4.563, minus 4.563 kilonewton meter. From D to C, the member is subject, or the beam is subjected for uniformly distributed load. Uniformly distributed load, for shear force, the variation will be linear. For bending moment, the variation will be parabolic. See, it is a parabolic. Now at point A, it is minus 5.938, minus 5.938 at point A, and in between A and D, there is no load acting. Or if you consider this UDL converted into point load, means only point load will be acting, then the variation will be linear. And in the shear force, if point load is acting, the variation will be constant. This is how you need to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. Thank you for watching.